in the studio, none other than my brother Bucko Bruce. Bucko, what's going on?
Oh man, same shit, different toilet. Another fun day in the utility construction business. But always a pleasure. It brings a smile to my face to be with the great one, the Mahara, the old grizzled veteran Teddy Two Teams. It's good to be with you, brother.
What up, boy? Um, Listen, we got to get a lot of things out the way. Want a big shout out to our Haps friends at Haps.tv. And Bucko, I know you said we don't do shout outs. Want to give a big shout out to WGBB, Mile High Radio, the Underground with our boy 9-0, and also
Danny Thompson,
the 405 Media. I want to give these guys a big shout out for always playing the pod. I mean, I'm talking about years upon years upon years upon years. And this is during the BSS days, all the friends that we've made along this way, this journey, Bucko. Remember we were doing audio podcasts on what's that place called? Blog Talk Radio.
Blogtalk.com. One of the worst formats ever, but we did it. And we ended up we had like 3,000 followers at one point.
Yes. During the heyday, man. During the heyday. Big shout out to B Rye, Big T, H5, Danny Thompson, Willie Michael, Willie Espo.
Willie Espo.
Oh man, it's been a while. But man, I always enjoy talking with you. We talk in pre-pro. You're the type of friend, let me tell you. Thank you for being a friend. No, seriously. I want to thank you for we don't have to talk for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years. And it's like, boom, let's go.
Riding the bike, brother. That's what they say, when greatness aligns with greatness, you can't equal nothing but greatness. You know what I mean? It's cyclical, as they say. It's cyclical. So let's roll with it, man.
I got to tell you. So, as always, I hope your family's doing well.
Yeah, these badass kids, they're lucky to do as well as they're doing, but they wouldn't tell you that. But it is what it is.
I didn't ask you this. Did you get them their Xboxes and PS5s and all the other crazy stuff that they wanted?
I'm gonna tell you what I did, being the frugal genius that I am. When the PS5 and all that stuff was coming out, the old boy Bucko went and found a brand new PS4 with a whole bunch of games for $190 versus the $500 PS5. So they don't know that there's a PS5. They're oblivious to the fact that there is better. They are happy to be playing their Minecraft and their Crash Bandicoots and whatever the hell they're playing. They think that PS4 is exactly what it needs to be. And you know what? That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. It's the real reason for the season, and teaching our kids about that. Hey, big shout out to Takara from Columbus, Ohio. Thank you for checking in. Bucko, man. The OH. Takara is, I think she's new. She was new to Haps like maybe 30 days ago. But I think she had a Periscope following. And she just caught on with Haps, and she's a pro now. Really happy for her. Shout out to Information Man who's in the building. Always got to thank my man, Information Man. This is a good brother right here. Takara is a great follow. Information Man is definitely a great follow. You want to talk about bringing that heat? Bringing that heat with real topics. Stuff that we used to talk about years ago. So we got through everything. This is going to be a quick one. Bucko, I know you and I here's some things that we're not going to talk about. We're not talking about Russell Wilson versus Pete Carroll, that fake beef.
It's a non-issue.
It's a non-issue.
No, okay. I mean, dude, look. Here's my thing. The same with Aaron Rodgers goes Russell Wilson. When you anoint yourself and you position yourself in such a way to hinder your team's salary cap by requesting top quarterback money, At that juncture, you get no say in what happens with roster construction. If you
Got
care
you.
about roster construction, you care about building a championship roster, you do what Tom Brady and co do, and you take a little bit less money on the front end so that you can build a team around you. If you're going to be a top 3 paid quarterback, shut the hell up. You don't get to make any decisions what we do with the rest of the money. That's it. That's period. Now, I'll never fault the man for going to getting their money, especially in this business. But at the same time, if you're going after money, don't go after the honey too. Pick one or the other. That's it, bro.
He's like
It's a non-issue.
the number 3 paid quarterback in the league. No, the number 2 paid quarterback as of 2 days ago, Dak Prescott. We're not talking about him. I'm just gonna say mediocre. Maybe not. But he has the best business team in the game to get the number 2 paid. You know, and the fact that he lives in Texas, no state tax.
No state tax, yeah.
Woo!
Dude, and look,
He
I don't
just
have a
G'd off.
problem with Dak Prescott, the football player. That man has done what he did in 2019 was the best season any Dallas quarterback has ever put up. And you're talking Staubach, you're talking Aikman, you're talking Romo, you're talking some guys. And what this guy did in that 1 year, now granted, it didn't, mean anything in the long run. No formidable playoff wins, no Super Bowls. However, for a guy that was a 4th round pick at a Mississippi State that everybody, including me, thought wasn't going to be anything, he was one Tony Romo back injury thrust into the light and shocked every one of us. And he was playing for $750,000 a year. Give that man his money. The shame should be on Stephen and Jerry Jones. They had this ability 13 months ago to get Dak at about $33 million annually. They decided to be greedy. They wanted to franchise him. They didn't want to pay him. Now what'd you do? You cost yourself $9 million a year and you get what you deserve. I have no sympathy for Jerry and Stephen Jones. Good for Dak Prescott. Invest your money wisely because I have a feeling at the end of this 4 years, you're not receiving another contract because the jig will be up. However, congratulations.
So, Dallas Cowboy front office management, played yourself.
Hey, you played yourself.
We'll go through. Let's talk a little football media rights. You want to talk about that, or you rather not? You want to save that for next time?
No, I mean it's a big deal because of the fact that shout out to Bezos and he keeps winning. The only guy I know that gives $53 billion to an ex-wife and just keeps winning. Bezos is my damn hero. Period. But just for the streaming market to get that small piece, it's setting, it's kicking the can forward, so to speak. It's setting it up to where the monopolization of the Sunday ticket, of this, of that, being solely in DirecTV's possession, it's now spreading the wealth. See, the NFL is going to get that money regardless.
Yes.
So what's the total deal? $7 billion annually from all of them?
What? No. What are you talking about? I mean, this is unofficial from Walt Disney and ESPN. Walt Disney, ABC, ESPN is $2.6 billion. From NBC, Fox, and CBS across the board, that's another $6 billion. So that's $8.6 billion. And no one knows the number that Amazon is going to pay to host.
I was told it was in the $1 billion range.
I heard in the $1 billion range too.
Okay, so let's say collectively it's $10 billion.
$10 billion
annually. Annually, and that's guaranteed, just like baseball contracts. No matter what happens, COVID be damned. And then that's where, like I said about Dak, I don't fault Dak. Get your money because the salary cap, the owners, what they pay these players, it's based off of this TV money, ticket sales, merch. Everything else has nothing to do. That's just icing on the damn cake, right? So you're telling me I'm going to take $10 billion annually, and I'm going to split that up over 32 teams. What's that come out to? About $280-something million, roughly. I'm getting old. My math may not be what it was.
Per year.
Per year. $280 billion. Okay, and the salary cap is 180. You
Right.
just made $100 billion off the top on TV money. So let's say you do another 300 million in ticket sales with limited seating. You just made $2.5 billion in 1 year. And you expect me to feel sorry for you for having to pay a quarterback $42 million? Kiss my ass. That's all I'm gonna say. But no, the TV money, and plus another thing you got to look at with TV money, a lot more people are at home. There are a
Yes.
lot less bar goers, a lot less stadium goers, regardless of whatever happens with COVID. You know, we had this conversation that one day, boom, they're going to flip a switch, and all of a sudden, COVID's done, right?
Right.
We said this. And I think they're in the process of trying to accomplish that goal now. However,
They're trying to flip the switch right now.
but the campaign, the fear mongering, the woe is, the world is ending mindset has already been embedded in so many people that you're going to have residual effects of this for years. That I'm not going to the game, I'm not going to the bar, I'm keeping my happy ass at the crib. So TV money is actually, for the first time in a long time, more relevant for the TV companies, for these media networks. They're actually going to get the bang for their buck and get the ratings that they require to make the investment worth it. So this is actually a win-win for both parties for the first time in, I think, a long time.
Bucko, let's really quickly talk about NFL games, and we're going to switch right after this. NFL games and what we saw this year. We saw this year single windows. Will that be the norm? And single windows. We saw games on Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Friday night, because I'm thinking stuff like that. And when you're doing in-game betting, I think the days of, and we're going to test this. We'll come back to this a year from now. The days of 1 o'clock windows and a 4 o'clock windows, and maybe like 1 or 2 4:25 windows, I think that's coming to an end.
I'm going to disagree with you on a large scale.
Okay.
I think now that they're adding that 17th week, because you already know, like when you get to week 14, they're already adding Saturday games. They're already doing this or doing that. So, yes, that last, 14, 15, 16, 17, that last 4 weeks of the 17-week season is uncharted territory. And now you have extra bidders with Amazon. You have, different constructs. So, yeah, I think now that there are multiplicities in the TV structure, you can play with the scheduling a little more. And with, as you've seen across the country, I think Texas, Georgia, there was another one, I think Mississippi maybe. Either way, there were 3 states on the Bible Belt that were vehemently against legalized gambling that are now have legalized gambling passed in their states. And it has a lot to do with the football team being in Vegas. I guarantee you there's a lot to do with that. But either way, so when you're opening up gambling streams, when you're opening up revenue streams for states via capital gains tax on gambling, things of that nature, you're going to want that isolated value slapping a game on a Wednesday where you're the only action in town that night. It's better for everybody. So, yes, I think they'll play with it. But I still think the majority of the season, weeks 1 through 13, will be that normal Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday construct. But the other games in the playoffs, you're adding an extra team to the playoffs, you're adding an extra week to the season. They can play with it and make adjustments within that format, but I don't think you can play with the whole season.
So are you okay to agree with me on the fact that maybe as of week 14, as we see, everyone looking at playoff possibilities, that's when you start the windows?
That's when I think it makes the most sense.
Okay.
Because they started the flex schedule, remember?
Yes.
That was the initial part of it. We're going to take this game that's supposed to be Sunday at 1, and we're going to make it Saturday at 8 because you get primo betting action on it. We're going to get ratings on it, yada, yada, yada. So now, we started that single window format based off COVID protocols. Now you can play with it. But I don't think you're going to see it norm because it creates an unfair advantage. You can't put a game on a Tuesday unless someone's say coming off a bye week. Like say for instance, if they want to continue the overseas format,
right,
and a team's coming off of a bye week, you put them on a Tuesday, so they be home on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? And they got a whole 12 days to rest for that next Sunday game, or 17 days, whatever the math is. You get what I'm saying? You incentivize a team for going over to England or Germany or where the hell ever to play a football game by putting it on a Tuesday instead of a Sunday. So that way it's essentially like gaining an extra half of a bye week. Something like that. I can see that there are a lot of options available for the NFL, and I do not doubt DeMaurice Smith and Roger Goodell for their ability to maximize the dollar and the ratings or the gambling, because NFL gambling is at an all-time high. Why not maximize this even further by being the single action on a Tuesday night? Well, the only thing you're up against is the start of the NBA season. You know what I'm saying? Well, why wouldn't you do that?
It's true. Big shout out to Tony D, who just stepped in the room. Tony, how you doing? Bucko, something that we did not discuss, but it was released today, but it kind of got leaked yesterday. ESPN and the NHL. Does that new deal move the needle for you?
It should. The NHL, look, I have been a big banger of the drum of hockey being a premier sport. The only issue is it's not televised. Well, what was MMA 10 years ago before ESPN and Dana White made the deal that they made to start putting these fights on regular television? Now, every fucking person excuse my language, every person you see walking down the street is an MMA expert. Neither one of them know how to execute a chokehold or an armbar, but they're an MMA expert, right? The National Hockey League is a great sport that has been marginalized and regionalized by hiding it on NBC Network, hiding it on Fox Sports local regional channel. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a sport that needs to be recognized. That 1980 Miracle hockey team brought a big, huge audience to this sport. And for about 15 years, it was up there with baseball and the NBA ratings-wise. They had a strike. They mishandled it. ESPN dumped them. ABC dumped them. They were on whatever. I think at one point they were on like Spike TV.
Like the Outdoor Network.
Yeah, USA and
the
shit.
Outdoor Network, man.
Yeah, dude, it got real bad there. But you're starting to see a young influx of hockey players. You're actually starting to see a lot of black hockey players.
Yeah, that's true.
It's bringing little awareness to it. And then if someone were to visit one of these games live, just go to one live. If you have a team in your local area, go watch it live. What it does on TV does not really do it justice for how good these guys are. They're going 30 miles an hour on knives, on ice, and slamming into each other and punching each other in the face. It is what the alpha male loves on sports. It's on ice. It's different, but once you understand it and once you appreciate it, it's a beautiful sport, man. And of course, Tampa Bay Lightning being as great as they are, I'm a large proponent of as many primetime ESPN games as I can get.
Yeah, I like the U.S. package. I like. Okay, so I'll go at it from this. First hockey game I attended was in 2011, and it was.
Don't tell me it was a terrible Islanders team.
Oh. Islanders Rangers when they were terrible, but the Islanders Rangers, rivalry.
Was it at the Barclays? Where did you go?
No. It's at the Coliseum, like 3 blocks away from where I live.
There you go. The Long Islanders. All right.
Right. So I went there maybe about, I'm gonna say 2011. No, excuse me, it wasn't 2011. It might have been 2006, 2007. Now that I'm thinking, maybe even before. But one of my buddies took me to a game. I then went to go see the Rangers at the Garden, and it was, through a connect. I got to tell you, I've been to maybe about 15 games, and it really kicks, I'm sorry, NFL, MLB, NBA right in the teeth.
It's just the live experience is so great. The constant action is so great. The small, 15,000 seat arena is so great. Like you're there, you're in the action, it's
There.
embodied. It's you're there, you feel it. When them motherfuckers slam each other, excuse me, when them guys slam each other into the glass, you could be 30 rows back. You feel it. You like you're in the action. It's a great sport. And ironically, signing this deal, the Islanders are all of a sudden good again. The Rangers are good again.
Yes.
You know,
Original
the,
six are good again.
The
Bucko.
Toronto Maple Leafs are good. I mean, dude, is a good point in hockey right now.
I like the fact that the whole Lake Placid deal, while
the outdoor hockey was so dope, wasn't it? Wasn't that
it was
cool?
dope.
Dude,
And you don't need a crowd. You don't need a crowd. Something like that. That's something for you to just visually see. And I'm like, oh man.
The fact that they used to play this game outdoors is what baffles me. You know,
Yeah.
that's wild. But no, seriously, there's a lot of good young players. There's a lot of talent, and you really see what these guys do. Like seriously, they're skating on Ginsu knives on friggin' ice, slamming into each other, and still having athleticism to do what they do. It really is something I appreciate. It's something I could never do.
Bucko,
I played football for 12 years. I couldn't do hockey.
Bucko, I want to see. I got someone calling me. I'm sorry about that. I got to decline that.
I have an iPhone. Everyone look at me.
I want to see the Stanley Cup. All the games, not one of the games, on broadcast network TV, not on some cable station.
Right.
I mean, I just think when they got kicked in the teeth and kind of ESPN threw them to the curb, and the deal they took with NBC at the time might have been deemed as a great deal. It wasn't a good deal.
It's all they had available to them, so they had to take it. That's the difference. It ain't like they had options. It was either we go back to USA Network or we take. And then, granted, the NBC Sports / Fox Sports package that they accepted,
right?
They're all regional. So if you're not in that regional small section of it being part of your package,
correct,
they're now part of that premium sports package that you got to pay the additional $5.99 a month for through your cable provider. And a guy like me, I pay it to get my Fox Sports Southeast so I can watch my Lightning. But the majority of the audience is casual. They're not going to pay the $6 a month on their cable bill to see their local hockey team.
No, so, they're not.
Yeah.
I like what it does move the needle. I want to see what the other half of the deal is going to do. Who's it going to go to? If it's going to go to NBC or if it's going to go to Fox Sports, then it needs to go to the big network. It needs to go to Big Fox.
Right. What I read is that NBC still has the majority of the playoff package, but that's the regular broadcast. And because the NBC Sports Network, NBCSN, that's going bye-bye. It's not going to exist anymore. Yeah, it's not. And they're getting rid of most of the Fox Sports local channels as well. That's why a new deal had to be raked in. Now, this deal isn't as lucrative as the NHL would like. However, it is ESPN, and they really are not getting the content they once got. So might as well grab the hockey fans and let them make up your ratings differential.
That's true. So hey,
Let's not bore the audience. Let's switch it. Yeah.
let's. I mean, we could talk hockey all night, but
I love it.
because if you think about it, it's not too many hockey like there's a million basketball podcasts because everyone's a basketball guru. But
the NBA is trash. That bullshit, dude. Seriously, players are getting bought out. Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin. Now I'm hearing, who is it? Boogie Cousins or whoever.
Marcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge. Thank you. And like a team like the Charlotte Hornets, you take LaMarcus Aldridge, put on that team. That's a great team. All of a sudden, no, these guys are all going to go to the fucking Nets and the Lakers. This little buddy system. Have only two teams, no parity, no competitive nature to your league, a whole bunch of buddies playing together. That is some soft crap that a guy like me that grew up watching the Bad Boy Pistons, the Rodmans, the Jordan Bulls, the Jeff Hornacek, John Stockton, Karl Malone Jazz, you stuck with your team and you made it work and you found a way to get to the pinnacle. This whole, I'm going to join all the top all-stars in the league and get a free championship. Dude, this is such a sad state. The NBA should be ashamed of their damn self. And
hey,
that's all I'm going to say on that league.
I'm going to talk, we'll talk NBA with Danny Thompson because he loves the NBA. And sometimes I sit there and I'm like, Danny, come on.
That's why I shouted the Charlotte Hornets because they actually do. LaMelo Ball is a beast. You know what I'm saying? That Gordon Hayward, you add a LaMarcus Aldridge to that roster, they can win the East. They can battle the Nets. But that's not going to happen. We're not going to see that because he's probably going to go to the damn Lakers. You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do?
Let's talk a little MLB.
Let's go.
Dude.
Hot stove, baby.
Let's give me your top 5 hot stove stories.
One of my top 5 hot stove stories, obviously being a Braves fan.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Soroka, who I feel is a top 10 starting pitcher in this league. We all know he tore his Achilles trying to field a ground ball early last year. The man wasn't projected to be back to the All-Star break. Here we sit on March the 9th. The man is throwing from a mound for a 3-inning simulated game already. They've now pushed his expected timetable back to mid-April, from late June, early July to mid-April. And the Braves with Charlie Morton, Max Fried, Mike Soroka, Ian Anderson, Drew Smyly, we're going to have one of the top 3 rotations in baseball, along with the MVP Freddie Freeman, along with Ronald the Goat Acuna. Any Mets fan, go ahead and grab your favorite pillow, snuggle it, cry on it. You're not coming close to the Braves this year. The Braves will win the entire shebang. Let's go, Braves. That's my hot stove topic to start with.
I asked for 5. You gave me 1. That's cool. Hey, let's talk about the problems that MLB has. I think the average age of an MLB fan
is about 50-something.
About
your
51
age.
Years old. Yeah. What in the world?
Dude, it's very simple. All right. It's kind of the same with soccer. The way the sport is relegated and set up through the youth is the ones that can become the elite of the sport are the most resourced available, right? I'm not trying to take it too far. I'm not trying to get a racial discussion going on, but let's be honest. The MLB is not marketing the urban youth. These camps that they're putting together, they're not targeting the best athletes in this country, which are the urban youth. They're targeting the rich white kids. That's it.
Bucko, I got to stop you for 1 second because you, myself, H5, Big T, and maybe Willie Espo had a discussion maybe about 8 years ago. And
Probably that long ago.
it was about 8 years ago, and we were talking about the African American players in the MLB is about 8%. It was about 8%. So
8%.
8%, and that was 8 years ago.
It's increased a little bit with guys like Joe Adele. There are some guys coming up through the pipe now because it's just natural. It's going to happen, but yeah, the number is still not where it needs to be. The number in there, I think the MLB is what 38% of Latin American descent.
Yes.
I think that's now the majority of the league. If these countries see the benefit of making their impoverished young athletes get good at this sport and mind you, player wise, it's one of the most lucrative of the four major sports. Why are these camps, these youth programs, these MLB sponsored lookouts, why are they not going to inner city New York? Why are they not going to South Central Los Angeles? Why are they not going to Detroit, Michigan? Why are they not going to the inner city where the best athletes in this country reside? Why are they letting the NBA and the NFL dominate the youth structure of your sport? You know why? Because it's continuously run by rich white men only. There is no diversity in baseball management. Therefore, there's no diversity in the projected youth. However, I love the game. The game is great. The game will be what the game is. There will be players that are good and transcendent regardless of the reach out. But the MLB, I think, under Selig, under Manfred, they're putting no effort into getting that next generation. Fernando Tatis with the gold chains, with the swinging the bat, with the celebrating. They made this fucking guy apologize. That's the type of stuff you're not gonna get because people want to have swag. They want to have, an aura about them. I'm a competitor.
You got to understand today's MLB owner sees that as machismo, sees that as the anti, sees that as something they don't want with their team.
And that once that mindset leaves, the same with the baseball writers, same with the guys that are voting these guys in the Hall of Fame. You cannot tell me Barry Bonds wasn't the best hitter to ever fucking play baseball because he put some cream on his knee, made a difference in the 780 home runs. Kiss my ass. I'm tired of it, man. I really am. If Barry Bonds didn't swing at a ball, it wasn't a strike. The man had the best eye, was the best hitter in baseball. He had over 700 home runs before he ever put a cream on his knee. And you're telling me you're not going to put him in Cooperstown. Why? Because that black man made you blush? He had to cheat to do? No. The same shit Henry Aaron went through in the 60s and 70s. We're still talking about it in 2021. Stop it. It's because baseball is such a great sport. It should be enjoyed country worldwide. Stop investing more money in Latin American and Asian countries than you do your own and get you some homegrown American athletes. And that just so happens to be black people. Baseball, wake up. Stop being stupid. And soapbox over.
Soapbox over. Hey, I will say this much. MLBPA and MLB themselves don't do themselves any favors.
None.
Whenever they need to be in lockstep, because if you look at the NBA or you look at DeMaurice Smith and Roger Goodell, there's a lot that those different entities agree with. But when you talk about moving that game forward, they're always behind the eight ball.
Right. Because what the NFLPA and what the NBA PA, what they have noticed is no matter what you think about your percentage breakdown or your profit structure, in order to have a profit structure to even talk about, you have to have a sellable product. You have to be in the mainstream. You have to be talked about. You have to be this, you have to be that. The NFL and the NBA, their ratings are both all-time highs. I think the last time the NBA recorded this level of ratings was what? 1996? What, 25 years ago?
Michael
They're
Jordan.
all-time high on their ratings.
Michael Jordan. We've been waiting
Right.
for the next Mike for how long?
Right. So as much as a guy like me complains about the little buddy, weak-nutted stuff that's going on amongst the NBA players, the ratings would disagree with me. So just like I disagree with a lot of stuff the NFL does, however, the ratings disagree with me. MLB is not doing anything to garner the attention, the eyeballs of the youth. Make somebody want to pick up a bat. How about you make a TPX bat less than $300? How about you make a glove, for $20? How about you make the sport attainable for the less advantaged people, and just so you might have the future generation catch up to the other three sports.
Well, I implore the MLB to look at what the NHL is doing, because you want to talk about an expensive sport, then that's NHL.
Oh, dude, just because of the amount of equipment that's required. Hell yeah. CCM, skates, helmets, sticks, that stuff's expensive, but the NHL is not going in the inner city to find their athletes. They're going to go to Russia, Canada, Sweden, whatever. So yeah, that they're fine. They can cost or do whatever they want to do. The MLB is an American sport. It's the American pastime. It is our sport, Ted. There are more Asian, Caribbean, Latin American, Dutch, whatever, born players in this league than there are Americans. That, to me, is a troubling sign for the MLB. When your own countrymen are not putting their kids in your sport, not going to your games, not watching the games, you're going to die. You have got to embrace the culture. You have got to embrace the pay attention. When someone's telling you what it is, listen. I think Paul Manfred needs to be fired immediately, but neither here nor there.
Hey, let's wrap up with a little bit of Tampa Bay.
Oh,
Buccaneers. We'll give you a little bit of shine. I know you're still smarting off that. Celebrating off of that world. I was about to say World Series. That Super Bowl win.
World Championship. World Championship will suffice.
World champion. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I got enough. To last me 18 more years.
So tell me this. Who got franchised? Goodwin?
We franchised Chris Godwin, which I predicted on your show.
Okay.
I said we're not letting that guy walk. He is a top 10 wide receiver. You just don't let those guys walk out of the building. If anything, this franchise tag would try to win a second Super Bowl and then he can go and get paid. That's fine. But yeah, Godwin we weren't just going to let that guy walk out the building. It was a hell of a third-round pick that is a great receiver, one of the most underrated guys in this league, I think. Having him back with Mike Evans just solidifies the best wide receiver duo in the league. You re-signed Levante David to a very team-friendly contract. And now the focus is 100% on Shaq Barrett, trying to get him to come back. If he doesn't come back, I do like a lot of the pass rushers that have been released and or not franchised. So I think we can still replace his production. But as it sits today, man, the way the Bucs are constructed, we can literally bring back anybody we want, and we can run this thing back, man. And I am very excited for this season. I dare to say the team might be better this year than they were last year. And that might not make people happy, especially those broke some bitches down there in New Orleans. You enjoy poverty, you bums.
Oh my goodness. So tell me this. Your GM, or he's your CEO, Jason
Light is the GM.
Jason Light. Jason Licht.
Yeah.
Do you see Jason Licht extending Brady?
Yes, that's already in the works. Because Brady signed a 2-year, 50 deal initially.
Mm-hmm.
With incentive. Hey, here's what's great, Ted. I haven't got to talk to you since Super Bowl, but the incentives that Tom Brady achieved by winning the Super Bowl, all of the escalators on his contract, he achieved all of them, which made his final contract number $28.3 million. This man trolled the Atlanta Falcons with his contract number, and I love it. I love it. But no, seriously, he's already talked about adding another year or two on the deal, bringing the number down, kicking the can down the road, so to speak. Mike Greenberg is our cap guy, not to be convinced with the other Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg has done one hell of a job with this cap, but we are in a position now to be where we need to be this year. And then in 2021, 2022, we'll still be third in the league with cap money at that juncture. So we're in a great position to not only run this thing back this year, but as long as Brady is capable, the next year too. Because look, y'all say what you want about that old man, but I've been a fan of this team since Steve DeBerg and fucking Vinny Testaverde, and I've lived through Brian Greasy, Jameis Winston, Chris Sims. Give me 48-year-old Tom Brady. I will push his walker for him. I don't care. Give me every ounce I can get out of this man. Let's at least get one more championship. And then once I got 3 of them, Teddy, they can't tell me nothing. We can be terrible for 20 more years. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't care. And I know you feel the exact same way. You've been waiting since 1973. You've been waiting right there. So 69. I know you know what I'm talking about. Uh-oh.
69.
Excuse me. I added 4 years to it. How dare I?
69 for the Jets.
I gave you a little credit, man. My bad.
You gave. I was thinking. I said, is he talking about the Knicks?
Dude, I just threw a year out there. I honestly didn't know when Broadway Joe won it. I just threw a number.
Broadway Joe.
I threw a dart hoping it would stick. Man.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. Bucko.
Yeah.
We are at the almost 40 mark.
Hey, you a man of your word.
I want to make sure because I want you to come back. We got to do this more regularly, and I want to make sure.
We can set it for every Wednesday at 8:30. I will carve out that time for the late night parent.
You got it.
We can make it. We can make it a weekly thing.
What's going on with Big T? How's he doing?
Honestly, I have not talked to that man since
ever since the L.
Look. No, I talked to him after the L.
Okay.
He congratulated me on the Super Bowl. He did all that.
Okay.
Now you were on the text where that man said he was going to send me a flag or a football.
Yes.
I have yet to receive.
Pie in the sky.
I have yet to receive the cash. Let me tell you this: if my team lost everything they were built on in Drew Brees, if I'm franchise tagging a guy like Marcus Williams, and I'm still $53 million over the cap, with 8 days to get it fixed, I ain't talking no football neither. So I'm really not mad at T. Their team is really in some soul searching bankruptcy type situation. You got to let that man live. We'll talk to him in a couple of weeks.
But, all right, we'll talk to him. But listen, when you come back next week, we're going to try and do it. I want to see if you and I and whomever else can do it in about a 35-minute range, because I think you get like a 38-minute or so audio podcast, because even though we do this for the live stream and we do this for YouTube and everyone else, I think the master is you get that pod under.
Keep it under 40, you're a winner.
You're a winner. You're a winner.
Are you trying to say I'm long-winded, brother? Is that what you're saying?
No, never that. We only have 44 minutes right now. I got much love for you, Bucko. I love your realness. I love you, your family. I just want to say we, very shortly we got and don't fight me on this. Don't fight me on this. We got our STEMI, we got our vaccine, and we got our tax returns.
I ain't got my STEMI. I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on JoJo. I ain't got my tax check neither. Dude, I'm about to be in a much different position. As I sit today versus the 10 plus girl I'm gonna be sitting on in a week or so. There ain't much shit that I'm gonna be angry about. So, hey, thank you, Joe Biden. I think you're a moron, but I appreciate you.
Oh
Either
my
way.
goodness!
And I'm gonna let it go on that. I'm gonna let it
Listen,
go on that.
in the morning, everybody loves Joe Biden. Watch.
Hey,
There's gonna be a
Sleepy Joe,
full-blown parade for that man.
let's go. Put
Let's
$8,000 in
go.
my pocket. I'll talk to anybody. You
Oh
know
my
what I mean?
goodness. Hey, Bucko, I want to thank you for everything, man.
Hey, I love you, bro. We'll do
Love
this
you too,
again
bro.
soon.